Hi folks, KD Creations and Designs. Welcome back. Kim in front of the camera and Devin behind the camera once again. Hope you folks are having a wonderful weekend. We are at the tail end of our weekend here, of a rainy, cold weekend here in central to upstate New York. Perfect time to shoot a video for gardening, right? Come on. So what we did is we're coming back to talk to you again about the Burpee trays that I had talked to you about in our last video with that I had picked up and purchased at Tractor Supply. But before we get into that, I wanted to take a moment and talk to you about being a frugal gardener, and being somebody that, if you're on a very tight budget, and it's, this day and age, it's you find yourself on a tight budget and you need to make it's becoming more and more difficult to make ends meet. And you're trying to grow your own food. It becomes easier to grow your own food when you're able to do it out of some things you already have around the house. One of the things is that I have gone and purchased, when you have rotisserie chickens, we've purchased rotisserie chickens, Walmart, grocery stores, Wegmans, and, Tops and BJ's Wholesale. They all sell rotisserie chickens now. Very easy to make wonderful meals out of them. But when you're done, how about saving the container and going ahead and making a little greenhouse out of it? You can start your plants right in that. You don't even need one of these Burpee trays, or even the cells that you can transplant out into the garden. You can start them right in this. It's a wonderful thing to do. In addition to that, I, for years, have also used old milk jugs. Everybody buys milk, whether you buy it in the paper cartons or you buy it in the plastic jugs. You can use those and make little greenhouses out of those plastic jugs as well, and it works wonderful. I did that last year, and my plants did great up until I put them in the other containers, which is another whole story. But again, misfits, misadventures, mishaps, all of it right here at KD Creations and Designs. But the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is being the frugal gardener. I had told you about the prices of these at the Dollar Tree this year. They had, and I saw these before. But I wasn't able to pick them up at the time. I saw them at the tail end of last year. There is a company out that has these in there, and they have them in a tower. And the tower is, from the research that I've done, is about $120. These here, for one section, is $1.25. So for 5 quarters, you get one of these. And how you set it up is you go like this, and then you just keep going and you keep setting it up. All right, you get the picture of it. Okay, if I go much further, you won't be able to see me at all. But the point of it is, that ought to tell you how short I am. But the point is that you can use these, and even if you did, say if you did a tower of 8 of these, it's $10, as opposed to if you were to order one of these towers online from that company or another company, it's $120. You're saving yourselves $110. Now, I know other folks out there, other YouTubers have shown, and homesteaders, they're growing strawberries, they're growing fruit plants out of this. They're growing flowers. For the folks that make their own soap and salve and all of that, they're using these as well. So I don't use this to grow the flowers and that we make our soap out of. And yes, I do make my own laundry soap. In the process of working with making and learning how to make my own soap. But the laundry soap is already down. We already use our own homemade laundry soap. But what a way to save money for this. $110 savings on this. And you're able to grow some of your own food. Again, you can grow your herbs. This is a perfect container to grow your own herbs out of. The one thing I will tell you is that I am going to need to have my husband do it, or I could do it myself, or one of my boys do it, and you will need to do it, is you're going to need to drill a little hole in here. So these don't become so moist and the water doesn't pool down at the bottom of the tray. So that's another way you can do it and be frugal about it. Again, so you have the rotisserie chicken containers, you have the towers from Dollar Tree, and then you also have the milk jugs, which again is just a home, it's a home, something you use in your home all the time. I lost my words there for a moment. Something you use in your home all the time anyways. So we've had a saying in our house for years. My youngest son used to watch a cartoon character by the name of Bob the Builder, and one of their sayings for all of the mamas out there that might already know this and have little ones, the famous saying for that show was reduce, reuse, and recycle. Well, we've lived by that for years, and it became a very common theme in our house: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Well, we reuse a lot in this household, and it saves on your budget. And it saves on your budget big time if you continue to do it, and you just keep building on your skill set to do that. You'll end up saving quite a bit of money, and again, of course, obviously that helps save on your grocery bill and whatnot. So the other thing you can do is, like I said, the Burpee trays that I picked up at Tractor Supply. Now I want to show you something here. When I picked these up, this is how it came, with this wrapped around it. And what came in this one here, the one that will sit on your windowsill, what came in that is this little card. It's already got some dirt on it. But what came in it is this little card, and it has the 8 cells in it and has these down here. And I'll hold that a little closer so you can see it. And what this is it gives you a record of what you've planted in each one of these cells if you plan it differently. Now, if you use the whole tray like I'm going to do tonight for this, then obviously you don't need to know. You know, you don't need to keep track of it. You know what's in it for the most part. If you plant something different in each one of these cells, this is a nice little record. If you have access to a copier in your home or a printer in your home, you just make copies of this, and you've saved yourself, you know, how much money to be able to keep track of the records for it. In the big 36 cell tray, they even have, now this is again, the instructions came wrapped around it, and on the inside of the instructions is the same exact thing. And again, excuse the dirt because it's been sitting on there, but the same exact thing. And again, if you have access to a copier or a printer, or even your local library, you'll be able to make copies of this as well. So what I have done is this year, I actually decided to go, probably, you know, it's probably going to cost you 25-50 cents to make a copy at your local library if you don't have access to one at your home. But what you could do, another way to make it cheap, is the Dollar Tree. Again, get a roll of masking tape. It's probably a household staple in most houses. Take it and peel off a piece of it, write on there what you're planning, so then you'll know what you have a record of. As you can see, I've actually done that in the 36 cell tray. You can see it right in the front here, what I intend to plant in this. So let's go ahead and get started on that. What I did, I probably should say this too. What I did is I went ahead and what I wrote on here is what it is that I'm planting, how many days to harvest, and then also the date I'm planting it. Now, you'll notice the date on this is, I believe it is the 28th, excuse me. So that actually was a couple of days ago. Again, another mishap. We tried to shoot a video. It didn't work. You know, same old here in this household. But regardless of that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get these seeds in. These 2 rows here, we are going to plant leeks. What they call leeks. Yep. Had to check my tag and make sure it was correct. We're going to plant leeks. Now, we've never had leeks in my house, so this is going to be a fun thing for us to try this year. We also, in the middle two rows, we are going to plant some Italian torpedo onions. Again, something we've never had. We're going to try planting those and see what happens. And in these last 2 rows is going to be my husband's favorite. We call them green onions. It is, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and plant these in here tonight. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these seeds planted, and then we'll go from there, and I'll finish up talking to you in a minute. But I'm going to get these planted before I forget which ones are going where and have to check again. And I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of seeds in each cell, and then I'll thin them out afterwards. Each one's going about 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep. And then you're just going to lightly cover the hole with your dirt. What I'm using for dirt this year is leftover from last year from my container gardening, and that mixture was about 50% topsoil and about 50% Pro Mix. That's what I used last year. So I have the green onions planted. I am so excited for this year's garden. I would like to have enough onions set aside that so I can dehydrate some of these and make some onion flakes out of them. And then I also would like to go ahead and have get enough of an onion harvest. Obviously, this isn't going to be the whole thing, but I guess now looking at it like this, I don't see how it could be, but it would be nice. But I would love to be able to, maybe I'll be able to plant another flat of cells. But I would love to be able to do enough where we could freeze some and have them for the rest of the year. That would be fantastic. I did purchase, just as winter was beginning, or actually I shouldn't say that, I guess probably fall, I did purchase about 25 pounds of onions from a local farmer, and we are still using those, and they are still holding up beautifully. So if you have the right storage location for your crop, even if you're not able to preserve as much as you want, because let's face it, preserving can be expensive. But if you're not able to preserve it in all the fashions that you want, even keeping them in a ventilated area is good as well, and that helps preserve them for longer periods. So I just planted my torpedo onions, and the last thing I'm going to plant in this for the last 2 rows are the leeks. And I believe that's going to be it for my leeks. And we will see how they do. We have never tried to grow leeks here. We've never tried to grow the Italian torpedo onions, as I said. Excited to try and give them a try, and hopefully they come up. So now this one is all set. What I'm going to plant here in this one, well, actually, let me just tell you that according to the seed packet, the green onions harvest should be 120 days. And again, that's information that I wrote on the front of the tray. So then I would know that and not have to try and remember to refer back to the seed packet. I can't talk. 110 days for the Italian torpedo, and 150 days for the leeks. So there's that. And this one here, I believe in my last video I was telling you about, or maybe it wasn't, maybe it was in one of the videos that we tried to shoot and it didn't work. So last year I purchased some green bell peppers from a local Amish family, and they were the best green bell peppers I've ever had. They stayed fresh for so long. They were delicious. And as a matter of fact, I still have some in my freezer that I preserved up. I put them in a food saver, and I put them food saver bag, and put them in there. That is one of the pieces of equipment that I have invested in, is the food saver system. That is something I've been able to do. I try desperately every year, it seems like, to try and purchase one piece of equipment every year. Next year, I'm already excited about next year, looking forward to next year. Next year, my goal is to try and purchase some heat mats. So after I plant these seeds, because of the climate and the, all of that we live in here in this area, sometimes we don't get, we just don't get a warm enough climate. So a lot of times we aren't able to plant until around Memorial Day weekend, the end of May. It cuts our grow season substantially. Our last frost date for this area, we're in zone 4. Our last frost date is October 15th, or excuse me, our first frost date is October 15th. So there's a significant difference in when we can, what types of products we can grow. So I'm excited that next year, hopefully, we'll be able to get some grow mats and get these seedlings started much sooner, and maybe have a more prolific crop going forward for us. Like I said, every year I try and do something to expand our horizons with this, and make us much more self-sufficient. That's our goal through all of this, obviously, make ourselves self-sufficient. That cuts down on our grocery bill. When it's all said and done, it saves money and keeps money in our pocket. And that's exciting to me. But that's all we have for you this evening, folks. I hope that you will come back. We will keep you up to date on the progress of these and some of the other things that we're going to plant and go through the gardening process with us this year. I hope you folks will come back and see us again. We have some other things coming up here within the next few days. We're working on a whole bunch of new videos. A lot of them are in the works. We've had some problems with our video editor. So forgive us for that. But again, more mishaps in this household. It's almost a comedy routine for us. So come along for the ride. Have lots of laughs with us. Thanks so much for stopping by. And come on back again soon. Like, subscribe, and share. Take care.